There's nothing finer to me than to be on the water when that sun comes peeking in under that Carolina sky in the Lord's creation. Lifting some lips on my favorite waters, taking blind hog adventures with some of my best buddies.
Welcome back to this episode of the Blind Hog Adventures Inshore Saltwater Podcast. I'm Corey. It's so good to have you. I'll be your host for today's episode, along with my good friend and podcast partner, Gaston King of Kingfisher Charters, LLC, located in the greater Belhaven area. I want to tell you about a few of our people that made today's episode possible, and then we'll get into today's show. Redline Rigs. You can find them at redlinerigs.com. Austin Hall and his wife Olivia started that company in 2020. They're a fighter owned company. They're made right here in North Carolina, and their products are always tested by a team of professional and amateur anglers, and to make sure that you get the best product in your hand. Some of the familiar names they have in the Redline Rigs lineup include their Festigator corks, their Dinner Barrel popping corks, Mayday jig heads, and their Red Belly swim bait hooks. They also have great partner companies on their website like Voodoo, Coastal Brew, Saudi Bay, and 3JD. And when you team those up with your Redline Rig cork, you can't go wrong. Stroud & Son Marine. Stroud & Son Marine is located in Eaton, North Carolina. There you can find them everything you need at stroudandson.com. You can schedule services, find all of their lineup that they have on the lot and what'll be coming in. They have brands such as Crest, Suzuki Marine, Carolina Skiff, Key West, Ocean Kayaks, the Old Town Kayak brand, Minn Kota, Garmin, Power Pole. If you name it, they've got it. Make sure and check out Renee, Joe, or Jeannie over there in Edenton for all of your sales and service needs. You can also find them on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. They are where both Gaston and I purchased our Key West from, and you should too. Fox Hollow Outdoors. Fox Hollow Outdoors is founded by a father and son duo right here from Eastern North Carolina. They craft products inspired by a love for fishing, hunting, and living in the wild. From game-changing seasonings to branded apparel to premium gear, they can help bring the spirit of the outdoors straight to you. You can find them at foxhollowOutdoors.com or also on Instagram under the tag Fox Hollow Outdoors. Don't forget to put in code BHA for Blind Hog Adventures 15 to save 15% on your order today. And last but not least, Saltstrong. Family, freedom, and fishing. The most trusted saltwater fishing community in America with over 60,000 insider members from Delaware to Texas. I'm proud to be the North Carolina Regional Coach for Saltstrong. We help equip fishermen to catch more saltwater inshore fish through real-time, on-demand fishing trends, tactics, and a teaching and tight-knit fishing inside community where we help through a coaching network and fellow anglers to bring you one step closer to your fishing dreams. You can find them at saltstrong.com. Now let's get to our show. All right, guys, welcome back to the Blind Hog Adventures Inshore Saltwater Fishing Podcast. I am your host, Corey Furlow. It is so good to have you. Appreciate you guys listening and tuning in, your feedbacks, your comments, things like that, just becoming part of the family. Hopefully you've been able to find us as we've redone some of the platforms and made sure that we are out there and more accessible than ever. We're now on over 10 platforms out there, including Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, Apple, you name it. Honestly, we have made it where we're accessible on all of these now. It's a little harder to find, and we apologize. Like I said, we've been learning all along, and so now we've got it where anybody on any platform in any kind of way can access it. And just search Blind Hog Adventures Inshore Podcast, and it'll pop up. So today, like I said, we've got a great guest with us, and we're excited to talk about
What? Great guest. Oh, boy. Put the pressure on me. You already know who it is for I say now, because his voice is one that you will not mistake.
I'll tell a story on that. I'm going to tell it now. Tell it. So I was at the Todd Willis Open last year, and it's completely dark. We cast off at first light, and you couldn't see, we had the lights on, and I heard a voice come by me, and it weren't the voice of the Lord. And I heard a voice come by, and I said, "Brian Saunders, where you at?" And he said, "Here I am." Here, I said, "I knew you were there. I said, "Man, you better not speak if you ever do a crime, because they're going to get you in a line." Oh, yeah, exactly right, man. So that gave that away. But to my right, before we get to our guest, I got my good partner, my best friend here, Captain Gaston King of Kingfisher Charters, LLC. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. What an intro. What an intro. This is awesome.
So we told him, hey, anything goes, and he's done keyed off. So that's all right.
right. So without further ado, we do have Mr. Brian Saunders of Victory Fishing Charters.
Custom charter.
Thank you. Victory Fishing Custom Charters.
That's right.
You are located mainly in the New Bern area, is that correct?
Yeah, I run most of my trips out of either New Bern or the Pamlico County area with Lower Broad, Vandermeer, and those areas down there. Also do quite a few trips on the beach. Spanish mackerel, king mackerel. Done a few cobia trips, but those are like old drum trips. A lot of time you either find them or you don't.
That's right.
And it could be a struggle. But so I do a little bit of everything, and that's kind of why we do like the Victory Fishing Custom Charters, because we can customize it, to do whatever you want to. And plus, when I went and got my captain's license, my brother Doug was supposed to get his captain's license at the same time, be in class together. I wanted him to be beside me so I could cheat off of his test. He's a lot smarter than I am, but anyway, I'm just kidding. But he is a lot smarter than I am, but he ain't got the common sense I do. I'll tell you that.
And I know he ain't had the looks. He can't have.
Oh no! I'll give you this. Now, my brother Doug got my mama's hair. I don't know where I swear I've always said he was the milkman's son, because he's 6 foot tall and ain't. My oldest brother's like 5'8". I'm 5'10". My sister's like 4 foot, and so my dad was 5'7". My mama was 4'10", I think.
That's my grandma's height. She's 4'10".
And so anyway, I still, but the older he gets, and I look at him and go, my God, I see Daddy all in you, son. And so he was always the smart one, the good looking one, head full of hair. Of course, now in high school, I had a head full of hair. It was all, down on my shoulders. Heck, if I'd have known then what I know now, I could have had man bun. I could have had that little ponytail back there, but
I'd have paid money to see that.
Oh, people cannot believe it when they see an old picture of me and I got hair.
Can you please take AI and make a man bun on you?
Oh, please.
I told you these days. That's what I'm saying there, AI. You can do it, man.
Well, I might have gassed the speed, that technology stuff.
Yeah.
Thank God for my wife, because if it weren't for her, I couldn't get through.
Well, get Miss Barb to put a man bun on.
Oh, she probably could do it.
Well, before we get into the big chunk of what we're going to talk about, why don't you carry us through? You have been chartering for a little while now. You went and got your captain's license, and I do want to make sure that you're able to tell that story of what kind of led you. I'm getting my, whenever this comes out, hopefully I'll have my, I don't know when this is going to come out pretty soon. I haven't got the exact date, but we're going to, hopefully I'll have my captain's license here very soon, but in the process. But you were a teacher for a number of years, involved with the school system, and then you kind of took a turn at retirement and decided, hey, I'm going to get involved with chartering, with doing stuff like that. You had a little, I heard the story you told, but what kind of drew you to kind of get your captain's license?
It actually, I just retired from teaching a year and a half ago.
Right.
What really drew me into it is my father.
That's what I knew, but I wanted you to be able to tell that story.
Yeah, and you're surprising me with this. I
can't tell you everything.
If I get a little choked up, I get choked up. It is what it is. That's but my daddy, when I would take him fishing, and he won't go out here and cast for trout and things like that. He loved to troll. Go to the beach. Let's go catch a mess of Spanish mackerel, bluefish. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
The last trip I took, back up a few times. My dad always asked me when I really got into inshore fishing, he's like, why don't you go get your captain's license? I said, Dad, I'm a teacher and a coach. My time's pretty booked up except for summer.
Yeah.
I said, I coach 3 sports. I ain't got time.
Yeah.
And he says, well, you go fish. You always catch. why don't you take and do it for people? I said, Dad, I ain't got the time.
Yeah.
And probably
And you're quiet. I mean, so a lot of times I know it's hard for you to hold a conversation. It's hard for you to talk to people.
yeah, I'm very much an introvert.
Very shy.
Yeah, very shy, very quiet, keeping myself, be a hermit if I could. But no, I took my dad trout fishing in Lower Broad, and we were catching some trout and end up going up in the river dunes. And man, I went to hammering some nice trout. And Dad was just sitting on the back of the boat and, sitting on the cooler. I couldn't even use, didn't need my power pole in there because it's so, about 9 feet deep. But he was like, man, you need to be chartering.
Yeah.
You need to be chartering. And I'm like, Dad, let it go.
Yeah.
Well, my dad died 3 weeks later, November 24th. I was actually home cleaning collards
Right.
that he and I were going to cook. The next day, that Wednesday, and my sister called me at night at about 10 o'clock to tell me that she found Dad dead in his bedroom. So I thought the only way really truly to honor him, the best way is to go get my Cap's license like he always said. And I said, you know what? You can go do charters here and there, build up your clientele, and then when you retire, you can do what you can do. So I was like, Dad was pretty dang smart. He was.
We find out how that works as we get older. And
Amen.
I'm gonna tell you, we find out how. Hopefully, my daughter will figure that out before I go see the Lord. But
well, they do eventually. I tell you.
No, she does a good job. But that's just, I think that's just part of kids, right? We go through stages. But
that's right.
I'd heard you tell that story, and I just for those that were unaware or had not had a chance to get to know you like we know you, I just wanted you to be able to tell that story for our listeners. I know you've told that on another podcast, and I just was very moved by it, and I thought that's awesome because it's kind of, I've had a lot of encouragement. I know my dad encouraged me. I know Gaston's dad has encouraged him, and to do this, and they see the passion we love and being on the water and fishing and doing that kind of stuff. And so I just wanted you to be able to tell that story. And no, I did spring that on you a little bit, but I didn't cry. No, that's all right.
I didn't cry.
If you had it,
oh man, no shame. No, I'm an emotional guy anyway. Yeah. So I wear them on my shoulders. If I'm mad, I'm mad. If I'm sad, I'm sad.
That's it. Sometimes I think we as guys don't do that enough because, there's room for it all. And I say that because sometimes the pressure cooker valve even goes off when there's too much steam in the kettle, right?
That's exactly right.
We just need to make sure we're doing that. But that's the thing, right? Faith is passed down from our families, fishing's passed down from our families, that kind of thing. So I am going to transition into the part that we were kind of going to talk about the most here. You were involved with a fishing, I guess I'll call it a trail, whatever you want to. I'll let you kind of give more info on that. But it is a faith-based. It is a way for people to get together and fish and have a good time in the Lord. And we are a faith-based podcast. So we believe in the Lord, and a lot of our close friends, such as yourself and different ones, we're Christians, and we are always open to bringing more people in, and the door's always open. But it does foster a big friendship. It builds something even deeper than fishing and different things. So why don't you talk about how you guys down on the Neuse River are doing some things to bring people together, families together, and to put them on the water. So I don't put words in your mouth and mess it up like I did the victory fishing part.
Oh, no, you didn't. I just had bust your chops on that later.
If you didn't, I know something was wrong.
That's my job, so you didn't have that job.
You know what? Hey, I take it. Listen, I got broad shoulders. I can handle it. Go back to one thing that's so funny, but it correlates with the trail too.
Okay.
When I came up with victory fishing for my charter name, my son, who at the time was probably 15, 16, somewhere around there. No, shoot. Blake was in his 20s. Holy cow. But anyway, he said, Pops, you can't do that. I'm like, you can't. I said, can't do what? Victory? You know how arrogant that sounds? You come running up there like you already declaring victory? I said, I am.
Me too. That's exactly.
And he says, that's kind of not humble, is it? I said, you're missing it, Blake.
Wrong victory.
Wrong victory.
That's right.
I said, what's in the middle of the word victory? Huh? I said, what letter splits the word victory? I said, it's V-I-C, and then on the other side is O-R-Y. What's in the middle? A T. I said, what's a T look like? I get you, Hops. And so the verse, and I kind of got it from that verse too, 1 Corinthians 15:57. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ.
That's right.
And so that's where that name victory. I honestly, when I look back, sometimes I wish I'd have paid a little bit more homage to my father and named it like Zoots.
You could have named it Blind Hog.
But that's all right. Look, because look, Blind Hog finds an acorn every now and then.
That's it.
So
That's where it
that's what you tell your people. Hey, we may find a cloud or 12 today. We don't know. But
you can't have a cool name like King and King.
Oh, sure.
Pine Court King.
That came from nothing.
Well,
I mean, I've never told that, but all that is a belted kingfisher, and my last name is King. I mean,
But you still got a cool name to do it with.
yeah.
I mean, I just got a hog.
All right. So back on our own. Okay. And one of the things that I used to fish the Carolina Fishers of Men here, Shore Trail right here. Most of them were out of Belhaven, Swan Quarter, Washington. They used to run 2 in New Bern as well. Then they dropped down to 1. And then after that last one, where most of the guys did not do well at turf because they couldn't, the trout were kind of scarce, and a lot of the local guys did really well, and so they kind of dropped New Bern. I think most of the guys said we hate New Bern, and I had a lot of guys that fish over there. But see, the first year we came over here and fished this trail, we did not weigh a fish until the last tournament. I had never fished this water. Never.
Yeah.
We weighed in 2 trout and 2 flounder. And Doug and I thought we had done something. We thought we had a chance, and we almost placed in the flounder that day, which just blew my mind. But anyway, so we started out fishing with them guys. And when they slowly migrated everything to over here and had nothing else on the Neuse, I was just like, man, we need something like this on the Neuse River.
Yeah.
So I called Billy Ray Lucas, who was the president of the Carolina Fishers of Men in Shore Trail, and asked him how he would feel if I started a trail off the Neuse River. And to my surprise, if you know Billy Ray, said, that would be awesome. I think that's a great idea. And so I kind of chewed on that for a little while. And then this guy by the name of Todd Willis had a little bait and tackle shop over there.
Funny how that name keeps popping up.
Let me tell you
well,
something.
it's like we say, you're gravitated to good people.
That's
that was
it.
definitely one of them.
And
Todd was one of the greatest, nicest individuals you could ever meet.
And hearing that from you and from so many others, hearing how Austin got his, first start through him, hearing how, we've talked to Lambert and to Tim, we've talked with you, we've talked with so many people, and the impact that he has had across our whole region, regardless of where it was, and just the profound amount of support that he gave so many people, and opportunities and chances and encouragement, or whatever it may be. I mean, if you want to, a lot of times we wonder how we'll be remembered, and I think as men, we wonder, what will my legacy
be, right? Will it be I be known as the big fish guy or this guy or this guy? His legacy has been cemented in the fact that people know him as an awesome man that was willing to help anyone, a good Christian man, just all of these things. And I don't know if you can have a better legacy than that.
Yeah.
I don't. To me, if I have part of that legacy, just when someone mentions my name, I'll feel, besides hearing the words "good and faithful servant, now you may enter," besides that, if someone can utter my name a little bit like that, I've done okay.
Amen. Amen. I mean, yeah. There's a song out there. I forget who sings it, and I ain't gonna sing.
Come on now.
We know no gain subscribers.
Oh, you losing, baby. Oh, Lord. But it speaks about what his legacies, what he wants his legacy to be, and it is Jesus.
Uh-huh.
And I think Todd Willis definitely was not a perfect guy.
None of us are.
Absolutely not. Had his moments. But if there was ever an example of the love of Christ, it was Todd Willis.
And when Colton hopefully one day can look back and listen to this, and he might be having a down day, and I had an opportunity to meet him at the Todd Willis Open this past year, and hopefully when they look back on this down the road and he's having a rough day later on down in life, maybe he can pull this up and think, if we didn't do nothing else today in this whole thing, hey, I get to hear a little bit of something about what my dad did for other people. And that right there is about as big of a God wink and a hug as you can get.
Well, I'm going to tell you, not to get a little dark here, but when I went to Todd's funeral, he had made a video for Colton.
Okay.
And they played that video at the end. Not a dry eye into place. And it was slam packed, people standing, and it was at the community college, Pamela PCC auditorium. Probably held 300 people. I don't know what that place held. But in that video, they did a video memory of it. And then at the very end, it was him talking to Colton.
Yeah.
And saying the reason why he was working the way he did, spending as much time as he did, was for him.
Yeah.
For Colton. Not for Todd.
Yeah.
Not for, but for Colton.
Yeah.
He was doing it for Colton. And that's one thing I will say about Todd, too. There would have been a lot of dads that would not have allowed their young son to hang out in the store or to go with him when he went and pick stuff up to bring back to the store or whatever. He allowed, you go in there Sundays and you're up there trying to figure out something. Next thing you know, Colton comes by on a scooter, and he breaks your ankle again with it. And you're like, good God, boy. But, oh, my God. Every time I went in there, I looked for Colton.
That's it.
And so, anyway, but Todd was very instrumental in helping me finally make a decision to get off the pot and to pee. And because I asked him about it, what he thought about it, and did he think it would work in our area? And he said, absolutely. He said, get it going. So I kind of mowed around, talked to some people. And next thing I know, I get, it's like 3 months. He's like, dude, are you ever going to do it or what?
Just talk about it. That's like us with this podcast. We talked on the boat, man. We
yeah,
I would never be doing it if gas and said, man, just order the stuff. I'm like, all right.
And that's what Todd said. I said, Todd, I want to do it. I really do, but I hate asking people for money. We got to have some money to give away, pay people and blah, blah, blah. And he says, how much would it take for you to get this thing started? I said, well, if we could get the first place payout of like $1,000 for do 3 tournaments, I think that would work. I think we would raise enough money to pay second and third.
Yeah.
I said, and that's all we would pay. He says, you got it. Now get it going. I said, whoa, I ain't got it, dog. It went right over my head. He was like, Brian, I got you. Get it going.
How about that?
And so, I feel like God had laid that on my heart to start the trail, and that God used Todd to like light a fire under my butt and get me going. And so Todd, he agreed to be an original board member, and then went and beat the bushes for 3 or 4 other guys. And
so what was born out of that? What the trail you have now is considered?
Yeah, we end up doing actually that first year doing 4 tournaments.
Okay.
And then and we actually paid 5 places, if I'm not mistaken, that first year. And that first year, so the purpose, what we developed a purpose for, was not necessarily to always be able to give out money to the fishermen. Yeah, give them a nice little check.
Yeah.
But the whole idea behind the thing was to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
And so the difference with y'all's tournament, if I understand, because my brother-in-law was in a kind of one like a bass side. I think
yes, they do. Yeah.
So that's actually involved with 2 days, correct? Y'all have then like a Friday and a Saturday, like not the tournament wise, but isn't there something going on where?
Well, we do a captain's meeting.
Yes, yeah.
We used to do it on a Friday night, and then I realized, and we used to make it mandatory,
right,
that one partner of the team would have to be there. And then we got to thinking about it, and I was like, I'm tired of getting home at 8:30, then going out there and trying to get my mess together.
Yeah.
And so going to bed at 11:30
to get up and go.
To get up and be at the ramp in New Bern at 5 o'clock, or in Vandermeer at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so what do y'all think about moving? So the second year, I think it was the second year or the third year, we moved it to a Thursday night.
Okay.
And we took off the mandatory. So now with that captain's meeting on a Thursday night, we feed them, anywhere from hamburgers, hot hamburger plate, all the way up to back in the day when Ben Wheat did some catering and everything. We'd have bacon wrapped scallops and
good.
Things like that. But see, that stuff was donated.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Ben had a contact with U.S. Foods, and he could get the food donated, and we just would have to pay him for his time.
Right.
So for like $300, he'd have a daggone spread out there.
Wow.
Most of it was finger stuff.
Yeah.
But
you had advertisement, you had fellowship, you had a way to communicate with your people, and then you had a great time of fishing after.
Yeah, well, that captain's meeting, we feed them. We then go into the church's sanctuary, and we hold our meetings there. And first one, we always had to hit a lot of the rules and get everything figured out, and then we would also do a 50-50 draw, and it's been amazing. A lot of guys that would win that 50-50 draw would turn around and give the money back to them and to us. And
because Gaston has a famous saying, what is it about the river? People on the river are happy to give. And they really are. That's true. I mean, you find some great people around the water, and a lot of guys around the water honestly, some of them may know the Lord, some may not. So if you can introduce them to the Maker that they enjoy His creation on, that's pretty good to me.
Well, see, and that's the thing. When I was with the Carolina Fishers of Men here, I did for the last couple of years. I would do their devotions for them, and so when they would do their devotion after the tournament, while they were figuring up the weights and who and the places. He just wants to be in the show.
Yeah.
But anyway,
he's one of the crew.
Yeah, he's a pretty boy. Pretty boy.
Mako the trout dog.
But one of the things that used to bother me was as I was sitting there giving a devotion, people were pulling their boats and leaving.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have weight. They knew they weren't going to win no money. They weren't going to stick around. They had to get back wherever.
Yeah.
And that kind of bothered me. If we're going to be fishers of men, let's be fishers of men.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wanted to have a captain's meeting prior to instead of doing it the morning of the tournament. And that way, and we made it mandatory because somebody from the team had to be there. They were going to hear the gospel. They were going to hear the gospel.
Yeah.
We do a little 10, 15-minute devotion there. Got a guy, David Adams, who does we call him our chaplain. And if he's going to miss, I'll find somebody to fill in. Like last year, Big Dave did it for us and he had people crying, including myself. But anyhow, so we are a Christ-centered tournament trail. Now we know that not everybody that fishes with us is a believer, and that's okay. You ain't got to be a believer.
That's right.
Matter of fact, if you're not, we'd love to have you.
That's right.
Because you're going, you might, if you come to the Cap's meeting, you're going to hear the word.
Yeah.
You're going to have a good time. You're going to get fed. If you don't, and you stay around for the weigh-ins, then inevitably, the Word of God, something about the Word of God is going to come out of my mouth.
Well, and the biggest thing, I think sometimes we don't realize the seeds that are being planted just by being around people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just, we've been blessed.
Yeah. You guys have been in existence for how many years now?
This will be, we've done it for 7 years.
So this year, though, is going to be unlike any other year that we
hope we had our best year last year.
But 2025 is going to present some challenges,
some
issues.
Gosh, yeah.
And so, all
right. We're having 5 tournaments. Our first one's going to be April the 5th.
Okay.
Our second one is y'all forgive me. I have to carry around a piece of paper, and I don't have it with me. But it's on our Facebook page.
And throw that one
Neuse River Fishers of Men. Inshore Trail is our Facebook page.
And then they can also get in contact with you.
Yep.
And give us yours while thinking about it.
Well, my Facebook page is Victory Fishing.
Okay.
Or Brian Saunders, or you can call me 252-626-6006.
Good deal. Before I forgot that, I want to make sure we got it. So
yep, you got my contact. And if you're one of these emailers, is bsaunders3, the number 3, at me.com. I stole that one from my wife because she's got 100 email addresses. And I lost my Victory Fishing at Suddenlink account because I'm no longer with Optimum or whatever it's called now.
There you go.
So
we got 5 tournaments.
5 tournaments.
One in when?
April the 5th.
Okay.
June, I think it's the 2nd.
Okay. Next month?
Nope. We take the summers off because it's usually rough on fish and the water's hot.
Okay.
So we start back in September, October, and November. And all of them, I think every tournament this week's the first week of each month.
Okay.
So the first Saturday or second Saturday of each month. So, those are our dates.
You did something a little different this year, didn't you?
Yeah, we're having to. The crazy thing is, when we first started this trail, I didn't give a rat's honey if you were the best trout fisherman, the best striper fisherman, the best flounder fisherman, or drum fisherman. I wanted to find out who the best all-around fisherman is. And plus, that kind of fits me a little bit. I'm an all-around guy. I just love to catch.
That's right.
I mean, I love trout fishing. I don't really care about catching trout. They're fun to catch. But, it's trout. They don't pull like now the big girls do.
Yeah.
But it ain't like catching a striper. It ain't like catching a drum. A flounder, I fell in love when they took away the stripers. Doug and I, with the Carolina Fishers and Men, started fishing for the flounder division, because we knew we stood a snowball chance in Hades of competing in the trout division with these guys over here.
I was hoping that they were going to do that 3 fish 20 inches or less.
Yeah, right.
Give us a
little window of hope.
Yeah. It's
So
gone now.
anyway, so we wanted to find out who the best all-around fisherman was. So our original creel was 4 trout, 4 flounder, 2 striper, 1 drum. In other words, a one-man limit of our 4 inshore species that make our Grand Slam. Well, they took away the stripers.
So we're how many years beyond that now? You're in your 8th year?
We're in our 8th year, and now you
5
can't.
years.
5 years since we have not been able to keep a stripe.
But what I'm saying is from 8 years ago, you just named off the limits that you could keep
Yeah,
of everything.
yeah,
In 8 years,
it's gone.
we are down to you can keep a drum, 1 drum, 18 to 20 inches.
That's all you could keep back then too.
But I'm just saying,
Oh yeah,
but from
that's it.
there to there
Yeah.
in 8 years, y'all.
Yeah.
So please, if you don't like where we're at, reach out to your representatives, flood their office with emails, calls, call them, collect. I don't care what you do. Reach out and send them pigeon mail. Flood the offices and let them know you're not satisfied. Because in 8 years, that's what
And
you
the
got.
trout's changing.
And the trout's changing
You
already.
don't know what's going to
So, and if stuff follows suit, you're going to be looking at them for nothing but catch and release for maybe most of the year. So get involved, y'all. Please get involved. And that's all. I mean, it just struck my mind when you said we originally did a 1-man limit, and I'm thinking now you ain't even nowhere near
half
you
of it.
can't keep any of it but a drum.
Right.
To right now.
Right now.
Right now.
You're down to 1 drum.
One
So
drum.
that's the choice we had to have. Either we're going to become another redfish trail around here, or come up with an alternative plan.
So this year's plan is
This year's plan is we're going to go back to all 4 species.
okay.
Especially when they closed the trout down on us like they have. And we kind of knew that was coming. We had already actually started looking into that and going virtual. So now we're going to do it where we will provide a scale,
Okay.
a measuring stick to each team the morning of the tournament. We will have calibrated all the scales. We will have checked the batteries, make sure everything's got good batteries in it, and then at the morning of the tournament, we're going to hand them their utensils, and that's what they're going to have to use. And so when they catch a fish, right now we said they're going to have to take a picture of it on the measuring board.
It'll be in the app though, correct?
Right. Then the app we're going to use is Fish Donkey, and you use their camera
Inside the app. So you
Inside the
can't, nobody can cheat. It's all inside their stuff.
Exactly. You can't pull anything from your library from your phone.
And you mentioned another thing. And the only reason I'm thinking is because I watched your video. You said that way nobody has to worry about their backgrounds showing their spots because it all goes up into that showing it's a legal picture. In other words, it can't be doctored. And then nobody sees their spots because it's all protected as well, correct?
Correct.
That's what I heard it and I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So I did my homework.
Yeah. I mean, so then they're going to have to. This was not mine. I'd have had video from the netting the fish till weighing it to measuring it to weighing it. And the only reason why we're measuring is to make sure it's a legit
Legal fish.
So we've got to measure them, and then we're going to take a picture of them with the scale, on the scale, and we're going to get a picture of, they got to take a picture of the weight with the, that's where my conversation with Chris earlier, which I ain't going to get in all that, I'm a little concerned about the scale they're going to be using. But so we'll come up with a scale. We're still struggling.
It's still liquid. It's still liquid.
It's all
It's going to be growing pains.
Exactly. Right. We're just trying to give you guys and an idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
The things that this is what, when y'all show up to things and we show up to things and it's automatically running and stuff's going, stuff happens behind the scenes
Oh, my
that
God.
you never, ever, ever see. And this is the kind of stuff that you're getting privy to with this conversation. And it honestly, it may have changed 3 times by the time you hear this, whenever you hear this.
Right.
But this is what we're just trying to give some information. And so look at how much work is going in just to be able to provide us anglers, which is a state, in the state constitution, actually, that we can take fish out of a waterway. How much we're having to do to be able to not have things stripped and taken from us. So look at the work that these guys are doing, and if you get a chance to, those boards are these on the board and stuff.
Board members.
Tell them thank you, man. I mean, you got ECIC, you've got the Neuse River Fishers of Men, you've got all these different series that are trying to provide outlets for you and your families to get out and fish and to do these things. It doesn't happen by itself. It doesn't happen without sponsors. It doesn't happen without all of these expenses. And
I can't tell you the number of hours that just my wife, Barbara, and I have spent researching all this.
I could tell that just from he put a video out on his, it was on Instagram or Facebook.
No, it was on the Neuse River Fishing.
There you go. Okay, I couldn't remember where I saw it. But Brian tags himself in it, so you're able to, if you follow Brian, you're going to see all that stuff too, and that's how I see a lot of it. But just hearing you guys and the research you had done, there was just knowing behind the scenes on things I take care of, there's no telling how many, I'm going to guess hundreds of hours already you have put into it.
At least.
Okay, because I know just on what I do, I was thinking this is big. Like this is not just a couple of hours thrown together stuff.
No. Barbara and I, the board, our board has done a lot of due diligence and researched, and we had a meeting that Sunday. It's that Saturday of the Sunday where I made that post. And it was, we met probably 4.5 hours that afternoon in Moore's Barbecue. We had lunch, and we sat there and started talking and ironing out things. So, but yeah, so we're still, as far as the scale goes, we're still liquid on that. We are going back to the 4-fish creel of we're going to do 4 trout, 1 drum, 1 striper, 1 flounder. I wanted at least 2 flounder. I really wanted 4 flounder so I could
get your weight up.
Well, balance off the trout guys a little bit. I feel my flounder fishing ability is a lot better than. Listen, y'all were talking about whether you're a big fish guy or a numbers guy. I'm a numbers guy. I don't give a rat's hiney how big the fish is. I love feeling a tug.
I'd rather get lucky every once in a while and get a big.
You do, exactly.
I am. Say what you want. I'd rather catch 116-inch trout than I would 1 24-inch trout in a day.
Exactly.
I would rather do that. Now, I'd rather catch 118-inch trout, but I'm just saying, I'd rather feel constant and have that adrenaline rush now, don't get me wrong, I'll take the big one, but if not, my life's not over. It's
okay. Oh, my God.
I want to get there and have fun and have fun on the water and catch those fish and do, and maybe I'm the oddball out, but I don't think I am, but I'd rather just get there and have fun, man.
Well, I'm going to tell you, speaking of small fish, I heard this for the first time I really ever heard anybody admit this was Mark Nichols. Do y'all know who Mark Nichols is?
I don't know.
Creator and owner of DOA Baits.
Okay.
He was down doing a show in New Bern, and I heard him get up there and he was talking, and he was like, I just love a tug.
Me too.
And so, we always like, it makes you feel better. Oh, we caught 100 fish today.
Yeah.
90 of them were 13 inches, but it was 100 fish.
But you had to know what it were. You
still
had to find them. You still had to find them.
That's exactly right. So anyway, I just enjoyed it. And I was going to tell you this. So, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago or so, it might have been after the 2019, there were a lot of small trout, but we had a good fall the following fall after that 18 or,
18 was the freeze.
was
17, 18 was the freeze.
Yeah. So, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to order me some of those. I'm on pro staff with TFO, so I ordered some of their panfish / trout rods, the ultralight.
Yeah.
And I got ordered some 1,000 reels from Ardent Reel, but they were fresh. They didn't last long. They were designed for freshwater. So I started carrying them in my rod lockers, and when we found a school of spikes, dinks, I'd pull them out and put you could put a 17 on them.
Yeah.
And catch, and they'll cast fine. If you try to overcast it, the bill would flip. People get frustrated. I'm like, quit overcasting. You're ultralighting right there. And the bait's too heavy. But, put 14s on or smaller baits. And Buddy Road, they would hoot and holler, catching 12 to 14-inch trout. But, down in Louisiana,
They can keep 12-inch trout.
they keep them. You know what they call them? Sandwich fish.
Oh, I'd have called sardines. I don't know.
My wife had a conference down in New Orleans a few years ago with her real estate company, and she's like, "You want to go?" I said, "Heck yeah, I ain't never been. I'll go to New Orleans. Let's go." I said, "I can call my old buddy I played football with at East Carolina, who's from New Orleans, Kenny Bourgeois, and I'll get up with him."
He had the name, didn't he?
Bourgeois. We call him Bouge. But anyway, I said, "Do you mind if I get up with a guide?" She said, "No, I mean, you ain't got to," because I was going to her meetings with her. I was getting tired of that mess. So anyway.
She was probably tired of doing it.
Yeah, because I would talk too much. And I'm not even a realtor.
We can't believe it.
Yeah. And if people ask questions, I'm going to answer. But anyway.
He's my spirit animal.
So anyway, I booked a charter with Captain Playzone. And I can't tell you whatever they call them neighborhoods or parts of the
Like the old parishes.
Parishes.
Stuff. Yeah.
But
I watched the alligator hunters.
smart.
Yeah.
I watched the alligator hunters.
So I got up with him, and I told him all I want to do is catch drum. Y'all supposed to be drum cowboy. Well, I'm going to go down and get wore out, catch a puppy drum. And so, of course, every show you see on TV is in Venice and not in New Orleans. So it's kind of a little bit of difference there. But, man, my first 5 minutes, I had a 19-inch drum in the boat. I said, this is a good start. 2 hours later, we ain't caught nothing. And he kept begging me. He's like, "Can we go? Come on, man, let's go catch us some trout." I was like, "Dude, you got 3,000 reels, medium heavy rods, 30-pound braid on his stuff. I don't want to go catch no trout." And finally, I was like, okay. So we went out and we were in what they call a lake. And it used to be farmland until Katrina.
Mhm.
And Katrina flooded a lot of farmland, and they went in there, the Corps of Engineers, and it stayed a lake.
Wow.
And
It changed a lot of their fishing.
it did. And so we're in the middle of this thing. Next thing I know, we're catching 12, 14-inch. I think the biggest one I caught that day was 16 inches, and you'd have thought I caught a citation. But get to my point. See, I've been around my butt to get to my elbow. You catch her, he's like, "Oh, that's a good one right there. That's my favorite." I'm like, "This 12-inch thing?" "Oh, yeah." So he said, "I called that a sandwich fish." I said, "A sandwich?" He said, "Oh, you fillet that thing right there, fry him up, take your 2 pieces of sliced bread, put him down there and put a little ketchup. Oh, shoot, man, it's good." And, I'm like, oh, my
Now,
God.
how long were you down there? Because you got the accent now.
Oh,
He stayed a couple of years.
I was there one day with that man. But I watched a lot of bayous.
They're tickled pink over a 14, 15-inch trout.
They love
I
it.
mean, but that's mostly what they have.
You know what his biggest trout he ever caught was?
Blow my mind.
17-inch trout.
I'm a trophy fisherman. What's up, baby?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm here down yonder, amen. Hot dog.
But anyway, how did we get?
I don't know. I was thinking that as you were talking.
But anyway, here, let's get back to the Creole. That's how we did it.
I don't do this one, bro. You did this.
No, you wanted said, look at what we got. One red, and then we got to talking.
You did go.
It's your fault.
Oh, anyway, we talked about Creoles. We talked about 5 tournaments. I want to get, because y'all don't get the recognition you deserve. You ain't had a WITN, WNCT, WCTI.
I can't get a hometown
Do what I'm saying.
TV station.
I know this. So I'm giving you
a recording.
We going. Hey, if you want to know more about fishing the tournament, get up with Brian or go on the site. I want y'all to talk about the things that y'all do with y'all's tournament. That y'all the things, the way you impact your community, because that deserves such recognition. Because we all love to catch fish, but sometimes we need a purpose behind what we're doing. And you guys are providing just amazing services. You're giving, you're putting back into your communities. And I want to give you the time that you have to talk. You know, let's kind of, as we start to hit the third turn till we get to the finish line, let's kind of start to head that way.
Yeah.
Talk about
what
you guys are doing and what the guys and the ladies that are part of this trail, the Fishers of Men, Neuse Fishers of Men, talk about how you're impacting your community.
Yeah, we got 3 main goals. This is no order of the hierarchy of our goal, but anyway, our 3 main goals are to provide a competitive but yet Christian fishing trail, competitive fishing trail, to provide an opportunity for youth to get involved, because we have a youth division and we encourage guys to get a youth on their boat, which a youth can be from 0 to, of course, 0. I mean, a little baby, somebody, who can catch a fish at least until they're 15.
Okay.
And this is probably the big, besides sharing the word of God, and having that platform to do that, is providing back to our local families in need and nonprofit organizations. So with the funds we raise, we have, after paying all of our payouts for actually 6 tournaments, because we do a year-end level too, we take our proceeds and donate it to those families in needs and nonprofit organizations. So this past year was our best year ever.
Yeah.
We gave away $24,000, and that's not going to include the $1,000 we're going to give away in the spring, because that'll be on this coming with our scholarship, Todd Willis Memorial Scholarship, that will 2 of those $500 scholarships we'll give out to local guys in our community, or gals. But we give to all kinds of, and when I say families in need, I'm not only talking about destitute people that are poor or what have you. We do that, but yet a lot of people we also help is they got a situation with child has cancer, and they're having to go to the doctor a lot,
it's just need. It's not.
It's a need.
Right.
It's not destitute.
Right.
Need.
Right.
It's one of our new board members, Mark Wiggins, his wife had cancer. We donated to them when in her last when her health was going down. Darla was confined basically to a wheelchair, and we donated money to them. They were going to use that money to build a wheelchair ramp going up and down the front porch. Well, we gave the money to him in November, and she passed away 2 weeks or 3 weeks later. I can't remember. Sometime in December. So they didn't build the ramp. And Mark's like, I was like, no. This was given to y'all to be used by y'all because of this situation.
Yeah.
And his daughter, I had the pleasure of being able also, they were good friends. They're good friends of ours, too. When Mark asked her, who would you like to speak? What preacher you want me to get to preach at your funeral? She said, I don't want a preacher. He said, well, who do you want? And she named me and her brother-in-law, guy by the name of Charlie Curtis. And so we both spoke and shared, in Darla's life and everything. But anyway,
It's showing the impact.
Is right.
It's showing the impact.
When I'm gonna tell you the captain's meetings, the last captain meeting of it's when we give out our checks, and there is never a dry eye in that place. I know what's coming. I know who I'm giving them to. I get so tore up seeing the people's reaction.
Yeah.
Whether it's the people in the chairs, or whether it's the people we're donating to, or the organizations we're donating to, sharing. Like this past year, Isaac's father shared about what they've had to deal with. And Isaac became one of our guys that we like to donate to each year, because here's a kid that had brain cancer and had to have surgery. I mean, has been through hell and back. And all he wants to do is to help other people. And he says he learned that from, imagine this, y'all, Todd Willis.
How about that?
And so he raises funds to go buy toys and things like that to carry to the Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, or either to Greenville. Used to be Biden. I don't know what it's
Charles and Connie Maynard
That's
Hospital.
it. Yeah. So, which we've donated to them in the past. Didn't this year because we felt like we had some other things.
Well, you did because Isaac will.
Well, there you go.
See, it's not always a direct.
Yeah.
It's not always direct.
Exactly. That's a very valid point. Right.
Not always direct.
So, but Isaac's dad got up and spoke and said Isaac went through some things, and they basically said he won't going to let him survive.
Yeah.
And so they started planning Isaac's second funeral. The second funeral. They did it when he had first diagnosed with brain cancer. And then now they had to do it again this past year. And, so, I mean, that's just him telling that story.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, it just tears. That's our goal. Our goal is, we could give more money to our fishermen. We raise enough. We have some of the greatest sponsors. And again, I hate knocking on doors and asking for money. It's not but for some reason, the good Lord allows me to be good enough that I can raise almost just me, not my other board members, close to $40,000 a year.
That's incredible.
Just going knocking on doors. And now I don't even knock on doors. I just Facebook message them, or I got their, we developed a report, so I got their numbers. So I'm going, hey, we're starting to collect money, are you on for this year? And 98% of them will say yes, and 2% will say no. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And
you can.
That's exactly right. I don't judge. I don't harbor. I don't, if you can, great. If you can't, great. I've had two, matter of fact, after I did that live video about how we were going to make the changes, I had a guy who sent me a text message. Hey man, get up with me. I want to sponsor. Well, he's going to give us $2,000 to buy the scales with.
Wow.
So, I mean, just from that little video, and he had already been hitting me up earlier, said, don't forget me this year when you go to raise money. I'd like to be a sponsor. I said, don't worry, I got you. I got it down, brother. Yeah. So, but anyway, that he's got that coming. And so I had another guy that said he'll donate $2,000 to be a tournament sponsor. I've had 2 of those already. And I ain't even got, because normally I always go back to the people that said that were the tournament sponsors, what we call our major sponsors, the year before, and give them the opportunity to be that again this year.
Well, that goes to show the impact you're having.
Yeah. Well, I think really, people don't mind supporting something that supports others.
That's right.
When
they can see that.
Yeah. And they know our heart. I mean, that's our heart. We just want to be able to help others. Yeah. It'd be that, what we say, we call it being the hands and feet of Jesus. Yeah. Jesus told his disciples that when he is dead, gone, they will do even greater things than he did. And I don't think I'll ever be able to feed a group of 3,000 or 5,000 with a loaf of bread and fish. I'm going to plan a little bit for that better than a loaf of 3 fish and a loaf of bread. But so in the first 7 years, we have now, our total given is over $100,000, a little over $100,000 that we've turned back into the community.
That's amazing.
And honestly, that's what does pee me off a little bit about the local channels that will not, especially one right there in New Bern, that will hop on something that is.
We hear plenty of negative. We don't want to hear any more negative.
Right.
Let's hear some.
Here's something positive.
That's right.
And I'm trying to get the city to New Bern. Man, me and Tim Askew were talking the other day because,
Bellhaven's really gotten behind a lot of what they're.
Right. I'm like, dude, I cannot get New Bern to get. I said, I even got the mayor's son as my youth angler last year. And I said, not only is he my youth angler, I put him on enough fish, he won the youth division. And the mayor's all behind us and we love, but the mayor don't have the decision-making capabilities to board.
Like that.
Yeah.
So you know what, y'all, if you're hearing this, please contact your local board members over in that area. Flood them, send them pigeon messages, call them emails, whatever works. And let them know that you want your local town to get behind something like this and you want to see good stuff. I actually drive from my house an hour and 45 minutes to eat them really good cinnamon buns and all that stuff downtown New Bern or whatever that little place is called, something kitchen, Dutchman.
No.
What's it called?
Oh, my God.
Baker's
Kitchen.
That place is on.
You just have put me on the spot right away.
And
they're one of our sponsors.
Dude, they are amazing. They are amazing. We will literally drive an hour and 45 minutes to ride around your downtown and eat that and go get a Pepsi. So, I mean, yeah, y'all you got an awesome place there in New Bern, and you got people coming in. If you want them to know what's so good about your area, get behind something like this. This is great. How many people they impact. So hey, there's our plug. But I'll tell you, knock down doors. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it is. If we could get the city of New Bern, I mean, I would love. We got a beautiful park by the drawbridge called Union Point Park.
Yep. Right
there by downtown.
We stayed right there at the whatever the hotel, the Hilton or something like the.
It's Hampton. Is it a Hampton?
I don't know. It's something.
It's Hampton Inn Suites. Yeah, but anyway, I had thought it all out and everything and presented to the mayor to present to who he needed to present to, and it kind of got shut down ultimately by the person in charge of Parks and Rec.
It shouldn't be one person's decision.
I agree. But
contact their office too, people.
Now, I have to admit, that's Parks and Rec have been good to us. Unfortunately, this year they've implemented a charge to use their ramp, and so there's not really there's a wildlife ramp in Bridgeton, but it's so tiny we could never get all the boats there.
But exceptions can be made for every rule.
Well, I agree, but I had to pay $300 this year to use the Newbern ramp. So, and I get it. They got maintenance, but that's,
you pay taxes too.
I pay taxes.
Taxes.
And a lot of our fishermen that live in Newbern pay taxes. Yeah. But I'm not going to bash. I'm not trying to bash them.
But think about it the same way here.
Look at the reality.
Look at reality, the local impact that is made on the economy of Newbern because of gas, places to stay, food, tackle, food, ice, you name it, it's there. I mean, so then people are spending, and most of the people you'll find that are doing this aren't too shy on spending some stuff if they know it's going to go back into what they're doing, what they love. So take care of the people that are taking care of you.
Right.
So we're getting on that hour time frame. So as we kind of start to wrap things up, contact your local people as you need to. And we talked about the great things you're doing and you're giving back. If we could narrow it down to one last thing to kind of wrap this up, what would you pass along to our listeners, and what would you want people just to know?
Yeah, I'm going to repeat something you said in one of your last podcasts.
Be careful now.
Oh, and no, it's good. If we would just do what the two things Jesus asked us to do, love Him
and love our neighbors,
this world would surely be a heck of a lot better place. But yeah, I mean, and listen, since this, there's a lot of drama in fishing. My wife says you fishermen are a bunch of dramaholics.
That NC speckled trout fish.
Oh my gosh, it's going to come to blows on it. I'm thinking about hauling off, man.
Some of these people don't see each other on the water.
I'm going to tell you, it is awful, man.
Let me tell you, I don't know why people get, and I've learned
fish.
It's a
fish.
It's a fish.
And it ain't worth it.
We're having fun doing it.
Right.
Supposed to.
Well, I can get political too, and in the past I've made posts about my political views. I don't believe in a man, but I believe in what's for the best of our country. Whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, I don't care as long as they're for this country and not for their own pockets, but or a party. But I learned a long time ago that you can make a post that gets under people's skin, and then they want to fire back off at you, and then you fire back at them. They fire. What in God's glorious name does that solve or do? Because like my old preacher used to say, a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still.
That's right.
I can't change your mind by making some smart aleck jerkified statement on your Facebook page, and you ain't gonna change my mind by making a post.
That's right.
When I shared this with my community group from church the other night, I have found out that when I've had strong convictions about something and that were wrong, but yet I believed were right, and then the Lord corrected me on it.
Oh, yeah.
And opened my eyes to it, whether it was through an individual who spoke to me in a form of love and not, damnation and, to be critical, but to just share truth.
Yeah.
It has changed. It changed my opinions and my views, and it opened my eyes. I call it stepping on the toad syndrome.
Well, people don't care what you know until they know you care.
Exactly.
And that's the thing is any of us, whether it's through a podcast or it's a Facebook post or it's an individual coming alongside, whatever, just, go and be kind. Just be kind to each other. If you disagree, but,
agree to disagree.
That's right.
It's okay to not have the same view.
That's right. If it was, we'd all be minions, right? So
boring.
we just we just go about it. But that's the thing, y'all. Just be kind, be respectful. You can be even enemies can be respectful, right? It's called chivalry. Even back in the day, during some of the darkest times and most gory and bloodiest times, there was still codes of conduct
Exactly.
that people followed, and sometimes we have lost codes of conduct. So, as we kind of wrap this up, just be kind to your neighbor. Be kind to those you come across. You never know what they're going through, what's going on in their minds. You don't know what's going on, what kind of day they've had, and especially on the water. Hey, it's for all of us to share. It doesn't belong to any of us. It's something in God's creation that He has given us to get out there and enjoy in whichever way you see fit. Whether it's from a bank, a pier, a kayak, or a $250,000 boat, go out there and have a good time, and just take your time and look around and see just how blessed we are.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we just want to thank you so much for just coming and tuning along. I'm part of a great organization. They're one of our podcast partners, Salt Strong. So with this one, to try and give back a little in that sense today, we're going to offer up a $75 gift card to the fishstrong.com website there. And the way we're going to help spread the word for the Neuse River Fishers of Men, if you will, please go on there and like and follow the Neuse River Fishers of Men Facebook or Instagram page.
Just Facebook.
Okay, just Facebook. So go like their page, and then if you will, please go on the YouTube, on the Blind Hog Adventures YouTube, and underneath this episode here, you'll see the tab that says podcast. Please type Neuse River Fishers of Men, and then just type your name, and then that way we can get you in the drawing at the end of the month for that $75 gift card that you can redeem there online, and I'll get you that code with whoever wins, and we'll do that automatic drawing like we've been doing. So hopefully that'll give a little something back to you and encourage you to follow their trail, get involved, and help support if you're able. But if you're not, you still can sign up and just be a part of the community and let you know you're welcome to be here with us. So thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to please like, subscribe, follow, give us a review if you will, and hopefully it's a good one. And that'll help just get the word out further of some great things going on in Eastern North Carolina that we can be proud of and just show the love and support in our community. So from Corey Furlow,
Gaston King,
And Brian Saunders.
yeah, y'all take care. God bless, and we'll see y'all.
Hey, before you come, if you want to donate and be a sponsor, get up with me. I gave my number in the podcast.
Give it again.
It's 252-626-6006.
And look in the show notes below. All that information will be there.
Yeah, so if you want to fish it, call me. If you want to donate, call me. We will take anything and everything. God bless.
If you want to hear some wild stories,
Talk to you.
call it. All right, y'all. Take care.
There's nothing finer to me than to be on the water when that sun comes peeking in under that Carolina sky in the Lord's creation, ripping some lips on my favorite waters, taking blind hog adventures with some of my best buddies.